Hey, you guys, I think I'm live. Let me just check. It's been a little while. Um, we are back in Ottawa, my hometown, and back in our own house for a few weeks now, actually. We've been staying with my mother in law up north in Northern Ontario since the start of the pandemic, basically, because she has a beautiful big property and the kids are able to do so much more there. But it is nice to be back. It's nice to be back. We're not on the water here, but we are in our own space again. And the kids needed to start school. So we did decide to do online learning, which can be done anywhere, but we thought we would come home to start that. So I am curious to know if you have kids in school right now. Are they going to school? Are they doing homeschooling? Are you doing virtual learning? And how's that going for you? I'm just going to check in again to see if we have anyone on. And okay, well, I am live. I don't know if anyone's watching right now, but please let me know if you're here. Comment, let me know where you're watching from. Yeah, so it's been a bit chaotic here, and honestly, the learning curve with virtual learning has been interesting. With two kids in the house, and then my mother-in-law, I praise her for doing this. She has to learn a lot as well because there's tech involved and there are two kids now doing it. So it's only been about 7 days. We're still going to see how it goes. I also commend the teachers. They have to have a lot of patience for this, and I'm sure some of the teachers are very new to virtual learning too, but they're doing amazing and they're adjusting just like we are, having to get the kids to, turn their mics on, turn their mics off, and pay attention, sit in their chairs. We shall see how it all goes, but I think the kids are doing pretty well. It's getting better already. There's good days and bad days still, and there will be, but it's just, I think, an adjustment for everyone. But yeah, let me know if you're doing the same thing and how that's going for you. If you're a teacher, I admire you. Thank you for what you do. I know we do have some teachers in the group, so please pipe in, let us know how things are going. And as parents, if there's anything that we can do to make your lives easier too. So I will get started. Today we're going to be talking about prioritizing health. And I know this is a hard time. September is very busy for everybody. It's probably feels challenging to start thinking about, taking on something new or making changes for ourselves. But the idea is that it's something that will actually make these transition periods easier and will help us be more resilient through change. So stick with me too, because I'm going to be sharing 3 things that do make it easier to follow through on change. So to me, prioritizing health and self-care are one and the same. I've talked about self-care a few times in the group, and I will expand on that a bit here. We'll explore the reasons that we may not be looking after our health the way that we should be, the way we want to be, and specifically in our case to improve our migraines. I'm sure we all have some level of I should going on in our head, whether it's I should be eating better, I should be exercising more, I should make that appointment with my doctor or my chiropractor. But we put it off, and whether or not we recognize the implications on our migraine specifically or not, when we're not taking steps in those areas where we feel like we should be, we feel guilty about it, we feel shame over it, which really only further contributes to our anxiety about it, our stress, and then that means more migraines. It's not going to help the situation. So we can come up with all kinds of reasons for not making changes. We feel we should be, like maybe for you, it's I'm too busy. It'll cause me more stress. I'm too tired. I'm in too much pain. I don't have the money, or I can't afford to eat healthy. It's too hard, or I don't know what to do, or I don't know where to start. Even let me tell you or please tell me if this is you too, but as we reach a certain age, and I turned 40 this year, we may start to tell ourselves that kind of this is the best it's going to get. Like it's only downhill from here kind of thing. And we're just trying to maintain what we have, or we kind of don't have any hope that it's going to get better. especially if we have tried a lot of things, we have worked hard at it, or if we just haven't been able to follow through, we don't see ourselves being able to do it. But here's the thing, it's completely untrue that at a certain point in life, the best we're going to get is, already achieved and it has to be downhill. That's not true. It can get better and it will get better, but you do have to change something. So you've probably heard the quote, and I did use it in a post recently, that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So that's all fine and good, but to throw a wrench into things, our brain is wired to keep us the same because its main objective is to keep us alive. And as long as we're alive, it'll resist change. So when we feel the most resistance, it's actually around the things that we should be making changes around. So the things that will help us the most, the things that will help us grow, the things that will help us improve are usually the things that we should be focusing our attention on, but we kind of don't want to do, or we feel the most pressure against doing or resistance against doing. So my advice to you is to just acknowledge that and try to recognize the signs of self-sabotage when that happens. So, don't let the years pass. If you're at the point where you're saying, enough is enough, I can't live this way for the rest of my life, or, even if you're worried about things getting worse, it's a sign that you're ready to change. And that does require action on your part. So here are 3 tips for creating positive change for yourself. Number 1 is to create a vision. Actually write down what you want for yourself, what you want your life to look like and feel like once you no longer have migraines or when you have fewer migraines. Where would you be living? Who would you be spending time with? And what would you be doing? And get specific. Describe your day from start to finish. What does it look like? And don't hold back. It's not really the time to be realistic here. Your past experiences, your beliefs that have been formed based on those past experiences and what you've been told, those messages in our head, they'll limit you. And they're not even true. They're just going to hold you back, though, from getting that future that you want for yourself. So creating your vision, it should be about you. Make it about you. If I ask you why you want to live free from migraines, I bet your answers would be focused more around others and how that would help them. So even your employer, your friends, your family, you're probably going to think about them because you're just used to doing that. That is in your nature. But I mean, they're important. Everyone else is in your circle is important, and indirectly, it's going to help you if they're happy. But when you make decisions around what would make you the happiest, then it's much more powerful. So number 1 is creating your vision. Number 2 is just start and keep it simple. So choose one thing that you feel is doable, something you've been thinking about doing. Maybe that's just drinking more water. Maybe that's establishing a regular bedtime and wake time routine or morning routine. Whatever it is, implement it and do that one thing consistently for at least 7 days, and then evaluate how you feel. Once you've mastered the new habit, move on to the next thing. Don't think that you have to overhaul everything at once. If you do that, then you'll probably never start. And then number 3 is to get support. So surround yourself with people, or find even one person who is going through something similar to you, who's trying to make better choices for themselves and who has, similar health objectives. And then, keep each other accountable. So be in touch with one another. Even if your end goals aren't quite the same, check in with one another every day. And then consider working with someone who's an expert in the health goals that you're looking to achieve. Ultimately, we have to remember that it is about progress. It's not about being perfect with everything we're trying. We just need to be making continued forward progress and celebrating the small wins because they matter. And they'll help you maintain that momentum when you actually recognize what you've achieved and you celebrate it in some small way. Even like you don't have to be going out to dinner or throwing a party every time that you achieve something, but recognize it, even write it down, and just appreciate yourself for it. And even the action. So you don't even have to celebrate the outcomes of things. Just celebrate that you did the thing, and that will also keep you motivated. So also realize setbacks are okay and they're expected. And you can remind yourself that, you know, you have a greater vision, this is all worthwhile, and the setback is not going to completely throw you off track. You just have to get back into it and continue on. So having your vision that you created in front of you, so once you have it written down, put it somewhere where you can refer back to it. So when things do go a little sideways, you can look at it and remind yourself of why you're doing what you're doing. Also, yeah, just knowing that when you prioritize yourself, you start to feel better. You'll continue to be able moving forward with more ease as you start to feel better too. So layering one thing on another, like I said, rather than trying to overhaul everything at once, that's going to be much more effective and will probably help you stick to your plans. So I know I'm making it sound simple, and we all know how hard it can actually feel. But if you incorporate these 3 tips that I shared, it will work. So these are the same concepts that I use with clients, even when we're addressing more complex stuff that requires, tailored guidance like that gut health and inflammation. This is what I use. And we also walk through the reasons why certain changes are necessary, what's happening in the body, because that can really improve follow through, even for relatively easy changes like drinking water. And we can't rely on sheer willpower. We all know this. We know that it only takes us so far. So fortunately, we don't have to rely only on willpower. There are these strategies that we can use so that we don't have to. Once we have a vision, we have the steps, we have the support. When we understand why we're doing what we're doing, that can go really far. So I know for me, I was only able to successfully implement some of the changes I wanted to once I truly understood why they'd help me. I had the steps and the support as well. So that really helped. And then, yeah, some of those changes that I've been holding off on for so long, and I had one foot in, one foot out, or I was like, not even attempting it. In the end, they weren't actually that difficult. They weren't that life-changing like I had expected them to be. It didn't take a ton of willpower, and the outcomes of them actually happened quite rapidly. So I would love to know what changes you've been wanting to make, but find yourself dragging your feet on or struggling to get started, struggling to know kind of what to do, where to start, and what roadblocks have you come up against. So tell me in the comments, and yeah, let's get a conversation going, because you know what? The more we talk about it, the less alone we feel in it, and that in itself can just be a drive to keep trying. We may actually start to enjoy the process once we have some encouragement from others going through the same thing, once we hear, other struggles and then get the opinions on how we might be able to combat that. Sometimes that's everything. So I would love to hear from you, and I'm going to end it here. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and we will absolutely chat soon. Bye.